Hello, good to see you all again. If you haven't met me, I'm Kavita. My area of expertise is compassionate communication and problem solving. Today's video is on resilience and compassion. And why have I chosen that topic? I've done a video before on resilience, and it feels very important to do now because we have had 12 months, if not longer, of chaos in the world. And that's just the pandemic. Okay, we've had other things happening in our lives that are so big, where we almost are crumbling. And you hear a lot about people's mental health at the moment. So it felt really important to do a video that addressed some of those things. And also, well, how do you move forward when everything feels like it's shit? Pardon my French, sorry if there's children watching. How do we take control when things feel like they're falling apart? I mean, how do we find solutions for life's problems? And have some kind of action plan, right? It doesn't have to be a long strategy or, it could be something really simple. And as people, we love to learn, we love to grow, we want to better ourselves, we want to improve our lives. We don't want to stay in the space of necessarily this heaviness of life's burdens. When they're there, we kind of want to get rid of them, and we want to go, how do I get through this? How do I manage this so that I can function and I can work and I can take control and find the resilience and the strength and the ability to be kind to myself in through all of this, and also somehow be kind to other. And when I talk about kindness, I'm actually referring to compassion, right? So how can I be compassionate to myself, and how can I be compassionate to the other? And that doesn't mean softly. So when you talk about compassion, well, typically people will think of the religious term of compassion, right? To be softly. But how do you have difficult conversations? How can you have difficult conversations that aren't destructive, but actually create something new? And that in itself is creating resilience, right? Because we're actually learning to be in a difficult situation or in a difficult place. And I start with imploring you to ask yourself, where in your life do you find it really challenging? So where is the challenge? So whether you're a leader or a parent or a young adult that is just, starting in your career, and you have a checklist of things that you need to do, right? So I need to buy a house, I need to have a partner, I need to have a child, or whatever your checklist may be. So those were some of mine. They may not necessarily be yours, but it's what are those things that are happening in your life that are so big, that you're just like, oh my God, I can't cope with this. And where in your life could you do with having resilience? So the questions I ask you are, what moments in your life where something was happening that was big, that was difficult? What happened? What did you do differently that allowed you to move forward? And I'm wondering if you could take the learnings from that and apply it to other parts of your life. So I'll ask again, what moments in your life where something really hard was happening, but you still managed to move forward? However wobbly those moving forwards were, right? And however difficult, whether you needed to see the doctor, whether you needed to talk to a therapist, whatever it may be, what is it that you did that helped you build your resilience? And how were you compassionate and kind to yourself in those moments? Where did you find in your body, in your mind, in your life, in your space, where did you find the strength to move forward? And I guess it's my intention for wanting to do this video is to share that things have been really difficult, and I've literally lived and breathed what my business coach and I literally just moments ago talked about. I was saying I wanted to do a video on resilience, and she's like, resilience with compassion. And I'm like, Oh my God, genius. Like that's what I do. My area of expertise is compassionate communication and problem solving. So here's a piece of compassion. And I have actually lived this for the last, I would say, 12 months, but maybe a little bit less, where I have given myself the headspace to, to be with my grief, to be with my pain, to be with the heavy stuff that was happening in my life. And it wasn't just pandemic related. In fact, the pandemic was the least of my big problems and pains in my life. And something happened to me a week ago where we had intruders in our house, and it was just me and my little girl at home. And I've been told by a lot of people I was very brave in how I handled the situation. And I managed to somehow miraculously stay calm, and they left. No one was hurt. But there was something I said to a friend of mine that they were like, I don't understand. And I'm like, of all the people this could have happened to, I'm actually kind of glad that it wasn't anybody else, because I have exercised my resilience muscle so much in the last 12 months that I'm okay. Don't get me wrong, of course I was scared. I was terrified. But I'm okay. Whereas I think somebody else would probably be suffering with a lot of PTSD or some kind of trauma or be literally crumpled on the floor. I'm like, no, what am I going to do? So here's the resilience piece for me, which I think might be something that I can share with you that would be useful. What is your action plan? What will you do? So when something happens that is really difficult and challenges you, like really, really challenges you, what is your action plan to get through that? What can you do that will make you feel better or be something positive towards a change? So say you have mental health issues and you're really struggling. Have you reached out to your doctor? Have you reached out to a therapist? Have you reached out to a friend? I know it's really tough. It's really tough. Like last year had me on my knees, what felt like brokenness when I had my first miscarriage years ago. I had a moment of absolute brokenness. But there was a strength to go, actually, there are things that I can do and put into place that will help me move forward. So I invite you to explore your areas of resilience and explore the areas in your life that you find challenging. And where can you take action so you can learn and you can begin to take control of your life again and you can move forward. So whether you are a parent or whether you're a leader and you need more resilience in your life, resilience with compassion for yourself and for others, please join my Facebook group. It is Compassionism on Facebook. It's a group called Compassionism. It's a Facebook page, and there is going to be a group on there that you can join, and you can have discussions, and we can talk about how to find, this peace inside of us. And especially if you're a parent or a leader, how do you compassionately problem solve? How do you build resilience when everything around you feels sometimes like it's falling apart? So that's where we are, and that's what I invite you to do. So if you would like to join, please do. We are on Facebook. It is called Compassionism, and I look forward to connecting with you and speaking with you again.